Entry from May 15th, 2025. Hello, my dear subscribers. It's me again, Moko, your favorite capybara blogger from the Brazilian Pantanal. Today, I want to share an incredible story that I witnessed a few days ago. Get comfortable, grab something tasty, and listen up. In our Pantanal Reserve, special attention has been paid to an elephant named Luma for several months. Why? Because Luma had an unusually large belly. She was pregnant, and we all watched as her tummy grew bigger and bigger. I, being the most curious capybara in the entire Pantanal, which is completely natural for a blogger, isn't it, would come every day to the meadow near the big lake where Luma often rested. I enjoyed watching her, wondering what kind of baby she would have. Ever since the reserve keepers noticed something unusual about Luma's pregnancy, they monitored her every movement. They even attached a GPS device to her so they could easily find her across the vast territory of our reserve. Carlos, the senior keeper of the reserve, suggested installing this device about a month before the expected due date. He believed that Luma's situation required constant monitoring. Carlos had worked here for many years and knew each elephant herd well. I often saw Carlos talking to Luma. He remembered her as a baby elephant, always following the herd. Now Luma had grown up and become an important part of the large elephant family. All the reserve staff loved Luma for her gentle nature and friendliness. I myself have seen many times how she gently stroked other animals with her trunk, including me. Can you imagine what it's like when a huge elephant strokes you with its trunk? It's ticklish and a bit scary, but very pleasant. However, Luma's pregnancy caused concern for all of us. The reserve staff organized round-the-clock observation, taking turns monitoring her every movement. They hoped that if there were any signs of danger, they could intervene in time. All this time, Luma's belly continued to grow, as if some mysterious story was happening inside. As the expected date of birth approached, Luma became less mobile, often resting in the shade of large trees. I set up an observation post on a small hill near her favorite resting place. As a journalist capybara, I felt my responsibility to capture this event for my channel. Many times I noticed Luma quietly moaning, as if she was struggling with such a huge belly. Poor thing! I'm small myself, so I can't even imagine what it's like to carry such a load. One morning, I heard shouts and saw a team of keepers moving quickly across the open savanna toward Luma. Of course, I hurried after them, skillfully shuffling with my short paws. From a distance, I noticed a male elephant standing not far from Luma, looking worried. That must be Luma's partner, I thought, hiding in the tall grass. When I reached the spot, I saw Luma lying on her side, her belly distended and her breathing heavy. The elephant's face was full of fatigue and pain. I felt so sorry for her. Carlos approached slowly, speaking quietly to reassure Luma. Surprisingly, she seemed to recognize him and showed no aggression or defensive reaction. The elephant flicked her ears, as if giving Carlos permission to approach. Sensing something was wrong, Carlos decided to quickly give Luma an injection of a labor-inducing drug. He considered this carefully, knowing that any medical intervention for an elephant requires precision and urgency. After the injection, Luma moaned louder, indicating that the pain was increasing. Carlos held her thick skin as if trying to comfort her. About 30 minutes later, Luma's contractions became stronger and a baby elephant slowly emerged. It was a magical moment that I will never forget. I nearly fainted from excitement, but as a professional blogger, I contained myself and continued observing. Joy swept over everyone when we saw the baby elephant moving, breathing, and snuggling close to its mother. Carlos guided the little one closer to its mother, hoping that Luma would soon be able to feed it. However, Luma continued to lie there, moaning with a painful expression, making everyone worried. Carlos had a feeling that there was still something strange in Luma's belly, and he immediately decided to check. He gently placed his hand on Luma's belly, feeling the contractions that hadn't stopped. At that moment, Carlos realized that Luma probably had twins. something almost unheard of in African elephants. His heart was pounding with fear and excitement because twins in elephants are truly an extremely rare event. I also felt my little capybara heart beating faster. Carlos immediately calmed himself, patting Luma's body to encourage her. Luma continued to moan, her tail lashing the ground as if trying to drive away the terrible pain. About 15 minutes later, the contractions reached their peak, and finally, the second calf appeared. It was a historic moment for the Pantanal team, as none of them had ever seen a mother elephant giving birth to twins before. Both calves stirred, flexed their legs, and made their first weak sounds. Luma was exhausted, but seemed somewhat relieved after the birth of the second calf. Carlos and his colleagues were overjoyed, as if they had just been given a miracle, and I could barely hold back tears of joy, watching this scene from my hiding spot. The sky was filled with weak morning sunlight, but we were all filled with joy. Carlos carefully checked both calves, dried them, and kept them warm. Fortunately, both were healthy, breathing normally, and showing no signs of abnormality. Luma was still lying on her side, but her breathing was more stable, her eyes less heavy than before. She tried to lift her trunk, gently touching the two newborns, as if letting them know that their mother was here. Only then did the male elephant standing nearby dare to approach, cautiously observing everything. Carlos retreated to a safe distance, giving the elephant family space to take care of each other. As if understanding the invaluable help, the male elephant gently raised his trunk as an expression of gratitude. The surrounding herd, previously hidden behind the bushes, now also began to appear, moving closer. In that moment, all members of the herd seemed to share this rare and meaningful happiness. Luma gradually regained her strength, trying to inch her way up to stand on all fours. With patience and help from the male elephant, Luma finally stood firmly. The two baby elephants fumbled and staggered under their mother's giant feet, making everyone who saw them feel affection. Carlos couldn't take his eyes off the touching scene, his heart filled with pride for having contributed to the miracle. And I, Moko, your faithful capybara reporter, captured all this in my memory and in my diary to share with you. Luma gently waved her trunk, softly patting the two cubs on the back, as if reassuring them and affirming her protection. The male elephant also began to move closer, wrapping his trunk around Luma, creating the image of a warm elephant family. A gentle breeze blew across the savanna, carrying the sweet scent of the Brazilian wilderness. Everything seemed to be infused with happiness, making this moment more memorable than anything else. When Luma was well enough, Carlos decided to step back and return to the observation vehicle. He wanted to give the elephant family some space, as well as prepare to announce the good news to the entire reserve. Sitting in the car, Carlos still couldn't take his eyes off Luma and the two miraculous baby elephants. He sent a message over the radio, his voice filled with emotion, announcing this unprecedented twin birth event. On the other end, colleagues cheered happily because everyone was worried that Luma might be in danger. But in the end, everything turned out fine. The elephant family was now gathered together. They raised their heads to look at Carlos as if giving him a silent thank you. Carlos smiled back, his heart fluttering as if he had just received a priceless gift. Then he started the car and slowly left the grassy field, leaving the peaceful scene to the elephants. In his heart, this memory would forever remain a beautiful moment, a testament to the love and constant efforts of humans for the benefit of nature. And I, secretly following the car, also left this place with an overflowing heart and a new story for my channel. In the distance, Luma and her two tiny baby elephants were still taking their first steps across the vast savanna, promising a future full of hope and wonder. Dear friends, thank you for taking the time to listen to this story from me, Moko, the capybara from the Pantanal. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to support me and hear more stories about the wildlife of our beautiful reserve. Yours, Moko!